Welcome to one of my favorite places in the entire world and one of my favorite months in the entire world. July is birthday month. And what I do in birthday months, I normally bump up the fun considerably, but I bump up the work exponentially. So what I did was I decided to take on a project that I've been holding off on for some time, a linchpin between me and the rest of the world. If I'm going to travel and see the world and film it, I need to prove it and do it here first. I'm in Los Angeles. So I did that. Welcome to the Inglewood Project. But before we get into it, along the way, I realized it wasn't about travel and fun and seeing places and destinations. It was about the story. And the story here was about gentrification. But a deeper dive into it, I found out that it wasn't about gentrification. It was about the lack of something. The word is community. And I've been just as guilty of as everyone else in this community of not being outside and touching each other. There was a further revelation, a personal revelation that brought me to a decision that I'll share with you at the end of this my birthday month. Something that will change the trajectory of my life forever. Something I should have done, quite frankly, a long time ago. But before we get into all that, man, the Inglewood Project, let's get it. One of my favorite places in the entire world, Inglewood, California. Welcome to Inglewood, and I must say that this view is pretty tranquil, and without doubt, this place is probably the #1 tourist attraction in Inglewood, California. What this place represents is progress, some say, and we're not mad at it. It's beautified the city. However, those of us who have been here for many, many years, over 20, 30 years, 30 to 40 for me, have seen the transformation of this corridor from the Forum on Manchester and Prairie all the way down to Prairie and Century. We have a whole new complex here, as you can see what's behind me. SoFi Stadium. It's a beautiful view, and this part of it is accessible to the public, so that's kind of cool. But what you don't see is the gentrification, the changing over what's happening here. Right here where I'm standing used to be the Hollywood Park Casino. That Hollywood Park was world famous for horse racing. Not the quarter horse, but the full track, the race season, and all the things that came along with it, all the trimmings. And it's gone now. And including all of that, the casino and the events that were held inside of that casino, we actively participated in my 20s and in my 30s in this area. We had a ball here. There were Wednesday night karaoke, and not the regular kind of karaoke either. The one with black folk that you would be embarrassed to take that mic because everyone else probably is about to be signed or could be signed to some record label or was at some point. That kind of night. So it was on and cracking, and we really, really loved it here. What we have now is a complex that is basically set up for people with high median income, somewhere around $75,000 to $85,000 to live in this area now, and it's going up. And to be truthful, I've experienced it personally. I don't want to make it seem like, it's total gloom, other than there's business to be taken care of here. We can't be asleep at the switch, but Inglewood itself, it's a beautiful city. When I came here, I felt home in my bones immediately. I did really feel at home right away. It's a black city. And knowing a little bit about me, being from New York City, the Bronx, it's about 22% black folks. But where I'm from originally is Trinidad and Tobago. So when I showed up to this country, I came with full melanin problems, the type that people that don't look like us have, the type that they perceive that we have. So I had a strong sense of nationalism from the place that I was from, and I was from a black country, so you couldn't tell me nothing. So when I came to Inglewood, first stopping in Santa Monica because that's where my uncle lived, we stayed with him for a moment, but when we got here, I was at home right away. But this is the place where I moved in and made my roots, planted my roots in Southern California. Right here at this place, man. 718 Inglewood Avenue, Inglewood, California. As I said, couldn't write this script. Did I write it? I don't know who wrote it, right? And let me see if I can walk up here. Let me see, hold on. What's up? How you doing, man? Thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, this is where it was, man. I remember spending many years here. I didn't graduate from high school here, but we were here a couple years for sure. And let's walk in just a little bit more. This was my apartment right here. We were in this apartment here, in a 1-bedroom apartment in Inglewood, California. And my partner, who was in another grade or two ahead of me, he lived up here. I met him when I came here. And they took me under their wing, man. I grew up here. Crazy thing about this place, I had a couple fights right here on the stoop with the gangbangers, the young guys who were trying to test me. And being where I'm from, and I'm not talking about the Bronx, I'm talking about Trinidad and Tobago, Bronx too. But my uncles weren't having it, man. They made sure that I protected myself. I knew how to, and I was expected to put them up. So when I got out here, nothing changed. Nothing changed. I started putting them up. When they wanted some of the smoke, I gave it to them. No way. There's no way I can do a piece on Inglewood without Rogers Park. On any given day, we'd be doing something like what you see that young man is doing over there. Walking into the park. From midgets all the way to grown men playing collegiate and pro basketball. I've walked through those doors. One more time, Rogers Park. The nostalgia. The time spent here many years doing my thing in this park. But it seems like the shorties have taken it over today. They're in here doing their thing. But yeah, man. We used to walk through this place constantly. I play basketball here. My children play basketball here. And this is the basketball mecca we all talk about. This is Rogers Park. So look, see where these guys are right here? I'm on the other side of the court. It was right here on this very court. I made my first friend named Sean Cash, a buddy of mine, man, and we've been friends ever since. It's been almost 40 years. The very first time I played here, he passed me the ball, or he saw me shoot, and he was like, hey man, whenever I give you the ball, just shoot. We played basketball for the next 10, 15 years as friends, but we certainly played it for the next 4 years at Inglewood High School. My first partner, man. Yeah, his name was Sean Cash. What up, Shawnee Sean? Man, I would be remiss if I did not mention the rich basketball history that this city has. Not just with Rogers Park. There's Inglewood High School and Morningside High School here as well. We're both responsible for putting ample pros into the NBA. Yes, we are. Paul Paris, Harold Miner, Jay Humphreys, and the list goes on. There's about 10 or 12 or 15 of them. For Morningside, for Inglewood alone, for Morningside, we're looking at guys like Byron Scott. I know he got a couple rings. Eldon Campbell. And a little bit smaller school, not as upfront as I would say Inglewood is, as the name of the city high school and where it's located. But damn, our high school rivals and our games were tremendous. And I was able to play against and with some of the greatest players that this city has ever known, that Los Angeles, that this country has ever known. So as I said before, I'm one of the luckiest kids that ever moved from Los Angeles to Los Angeles from New York, already being a Laker fan. I was a Laker fan before I came. And I lived the greatest dream I could ever live in regards to sports and basketball as a result of it. Ain't what, man? I couldn't write this. I couldn't make this shit up. Okay, where I'm at Swanks in Inglewood, one of the many businesses that are on Manchester, I guess at the intersection of Crenshaw, which is a little bit higher up than Market and Manchester. Close to the avenues, actually cutting right through. The borderline of Inglewood is just a few blocks up this way at Van Ness. So you're at the eastern side of Inglewood. And I've lived in this neighborhood and I've patronized these businesses, especially the AutoZone in that corner. Not trying to big them up, but I have. And I stopped in at Swank before, bought a suit or two from him, and we formed a relationship. A cool cat, know one or two people that I know, and he opened this shop 2020 during COVID. And we say what's up to him, see if he's in the shop today. There was something else I needed to pick up too that I left on the. That's about right there. Yo, it's kind of bright in here. So anyway, it's conducting business, so I'm gonna bring it down just a taste. In a million years, I couldn't script this story. I've been truly lucky, man. The ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, we all go through them. We all have something we got to work on, right? We're all messed up. And I think that's why we need each other more than anything. And the lack of community really got to me. And so I made it a point to talk to people more as I realized it was missing for me, to try to find people on the street, moving around, just doing their thing, didn't exist. So it became a challenge for me. I'm going to find people and I'm going to talk to them. And I ran into some interesting people. I ran into Shawnee on the way to Pave's, a cigar shop, while I was shooting some B-rolls, you know, to set up stuff to get me there that looks good on film, to show the progress. Ran into her at the coffee shop. She flagged me down and we talked for a minute. I pulled out the camera. I said, "Do you mind?" She said, "No." In fact, she was quite delighted. And at the end of it all, it was a good experience to meet a nice person who I think was, you know, a little bit attracted to me. And when I hinted towards it, she kind of said, yeah, and said she was single. So there are ample benefits. If you go out into the world, I've found, I mean, we know this to be true, and you offer yourself without any pretense to the body of humanity, they love you back. You get it back, man, in tenfold. So that was my interception on the way to Pave's, man, just talking to her. But they're wonderful people. There are others I met. I met a captain that is a retired captain from the fire department, fire chief. I think he was a captain. And several people along the way, countless of them. People at establishments, people in the street, people while I'm shooting just walk up to me while I'm flying the drone trying to get a shot. It was just, I was a magnet, and I think the case was that they need community as much as I do. We all need each other, man, community. So after being rudely interrupted by Shawnee, I shot a little bit of a chess setup they have sitting outside on some high tables, well lit by the sun. So I said, hey, my eye caught it and I shot it. And while I was doing that, Pave came out and we sat down for a little bit. And the wonderful part about talking with Pave is that truly a gentleman from the moment I met him. Straight up G, no doubt about it, but refined to the point of true excellence as a gentleman. And his place reflects it. And his other half, the lady he has with him, is truly a compliment. I realized after talking to 4 people that day before I got to his interview that the batteries had run out and I was not getting audio. But I got immaculate video. Look how beautiful they look and the place looks. Now, after talking to him, I found out that his main message was that as a man, as a business owner, as a man that has to do something and leave a legacy for not just himself, but for his people, that he has to lead. That was his mantra. I have to lead. I have to get out and be in front and make sure I make the sacrifices that leaders make. Closed one cigar shop in one location, wherever he was, and he moved it to market, understanding the business climate. Things are changing. We can capitalize here. And when he got here, he put down stakes, and he has a beautiful business plan, one based on a higher echelon of clientele, which I think is wonderful. We don't mind paying. We have money. We pay for all kinds of things. But what a ticket does, a higher ticket does, it creates a distinction. And I think he did that, not only in the product he has and in his mindset and his forward thinking, but also in how he strategized and placed his business. This is not a regular place. Cigar lounge. So much so that he has top-notch musicians show up every Friday and play a set from 9 to about 11:30. And these guys are professional players, and you never know who you get. I'm so glad he's there, and he's leading, and he's setting this precedent. Because anyone behind him on Market Street is going to have to get with it. Pave, I congratulate you. You and Miss Lady Pave for leading. You make me and others proud of my favorite place and proud of what the future is going to bring. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for your hospitality. Let's talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about, before we get out of here, some of the favorite places and haunts I try to hang out in Inglewood. In the last few days, I did find a few. Obviously, there's the casino that's been rebuilt. There's all the festivities along the concert realm when it comes to the Forum, the SoFi Stadium, and also the Clipper Stadium. There's sports throughout the year, so there's a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to find something local, and I did. I found a place that I hung out on that very evening. I was going over to check out jazz at Pave's. He invited me over on Friday. So on my way there, I stopped at a brewery that I like to hang out at. Yeah, it was kind of cool. They had pizza as a service that night that was being cooked right in the parking lot. And being from the Bronx and being a hop individual, the hop in Lakewood, if you know what I mean, we used to show up at the end of the party and we never went in. We hung out in the parking lot, and that's what I did there. I hung out in the parking lot. I grabbed a beer. They gave me a complimentary beer. Once again, I had a camera. I told them who I was. Could I shoot some? They were like, cool, no worries. The owner's not here, but hey, you can work it out with him. But between you and me, here's a beer. When I got ready to pay, they said, don't worry about it. I'm telling you, man, the more I did what I was supposed to do, which is what God is calling us to do, is for each other, it exponentially returned it to me in just moments. It didn't even take long for it to happen. You know what I mean? So if overall anything I have to offer besides these fun places that we all, need to have and be at, it's about the people. There are other couple places on Market Street too, besides the coffee shop and Pave's cigar shop. There's another place that I've been watching. I don't know how popular it is, pardon me, but it's a night place. It looks like a place where you can go have dinner, sit on a patio outside a little bit, and interact with the public. It's designed to be an outside, inside venue, and I love those. There's also a bar situated right on Market Street and Manchester that's getting popular. It's gaining popularity. I believe it moved from another location on Market. It upgraded, so to speak. Little bit ratchet. I'm going to say what it is. But yet still, I'm happy it's a thriving black business on the block. A little bit further down, an African gentleman took over a square footage maybe of about, I don't know, 2,000 square feet of a warehouse scenario and turned it into a concert event place. These places are on Market right now. I didn't go anywhere. Downtown Inglewood, Market Street. We need other business owners to come down there and decide to move in. So will I. Trust me, I will, even though I may not be here. Oh, did I let it out? Even though I may not be here, my spirit and my dollars and my love for the city will never leave. So I want us all to take a specific interest in making sure we keep a little piece, a big piece of our legacy, and that's Market Street. Just a little bit of facts to go along with what I'm thinking because it supports what I'm talking about. More people have migrated to California than anywhere else in the United States. Some to the tunes about 1.6% of that are black folks that they've, surmised, which is about 1.6 million of that 10 million, as far as migrants are concerned. But the overall population in this state is about 37, 38 million, and black folk comprise about 6.5% of that in the entire state, to the tune of about 2.2 million. So it's not a whole lot. But Inglewood, on the other hand, is a 40% black city with the legislation reflecting that. In other words, the control of the city government. Since I've been here, we've had black mayors, and this city is completely black. To sum it up, Inglewood is a black mecca. Welcome to Inglewood, and when you come here, recognize. Recognize. Okay. I've been hinting, what the hell is it, Ron? What's going on? Where you going? You going back to New York? You going to Florida? Where you going? Why you keep talking about you may not be here? Well, it's not just talk. I've made a decision, something I didn't even know was welling and stirring inside of me. I know I didn't fit in here. Let's put it like that. But I've decided I have to leave the country, man. Ron Raphael is not leaving just California. Right? Where would I be going, right? It would have to be someplace more miraculous and beautiful than here. By far, it's Africa, man. I'm moving to Nairobi, Africa. Nairobi, Kenya. Let me get it right. Forget where I'm going. I may end up in the wrong place if I say it like that. I'm moving to Nairobi, Kenya. I'm out, man. I gotta go. I don't belong here. I'm Raphael. Much love. But I'll be taking you with me, and I will not stop what I'm doing. In fact, it's going to open up a whole new realm of expectations with my new location and my ability to project from that location. No worries, I'm not going to leave here. My monies, my dollars, my soul will still be here in the city of Inglewood. I got things to do. And I'll be here at least once a year and traveling the world in the same time. I'm Ron Raphael. Wish me the best, man. Keep following me, though. I'm going to need you. Ron Raphael. I'm out.